what's up, DJs? So we are here. It is now officially Friday, and we are heading out to our first gig of this weekend, which is going to be at Bayview Weddings at Gallagher Farms in Cedar, Michigan. Tonight we have a ceremony, we have a reception, and we have a photo booth. It's gonna be really cool because the ceremony location is at a overlook location. This whole weekend is gonna be packed with some cool ceremony sites. Both of them are gonna be on top of a hill, overlooking some body of water. It's gonna be gorgeous. So I'll check in with you guys when we get to the venue and we begin unloading. Today we have no Jody with us. We are hanging solo this weekend, guys. I'm riding solo. So I'll check in with you when we get to the venue and we begin unloading. All right, here we are. Bayview Weddings at Gallagher Farms. Look at that view. So you have a beautiful view over there, and the ceremony is going to be happening at their overlook location. One thing I always forget about whenever I come here is just how windy it gets up here on this mountaintop, or this hill, whatever you want to call it. So tonight we are doing a ceremony, reception, and photo booth. The bar is going to be located right over there. DJ booth is going to be over here on the dance floor. And not exactly sure where the photo booth is going to go yet, but we will figure that out. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting set up. Catch you guys in a bit. All right, here we go, guys. So we are all set up. It's very windy today, so we do have to be careful. I've got some bags. One cool thing is I get a chance to kind of test out these shelves here with the moving heads on top. Let's get to the ceremony site and get set up. Quick interjection, guys. It's a couple days later, and I was editing the gig log, and there was a part where I was talking about how windy it was, but because of how windy it was, you couldn't actually hear me over the wind. You saw the video of my facade, and you could hear the wind. It was really windy up there. Now, what I was hoping was that those shelves I have on the facade would kind of help it from blowing over, because anybody that uses a facade knows that when it's windy, the facade can kind of get blown over, and it's difficult to work with. Having those shelves on it adds a little structural support, and same with the moving heads. When you put weight on it, the whole time I was setting up, I just had that sitting like that, and it didn't move. Just to be safe, I put some bags around it while I went up to the ceremony site, and I was hoping when I got back, it would all still be there. And it was. When I got back, everything was fine. So for those of you that use a facade, maybe you go to a lot of different venues with a lot of wind or outdoor events, you know, maybe look into those shelves. They're really beneficial. Anyways, back to the video. So this is kind of what we are rocking with tonight. We got our two QSC K12s. Now, thankfully, usually facades do not fare too well in the wind. But these shelves actually do a lot to add a little structure and stabilization to them, as well as adding those moving heads on top. And then I have a couple bags just kind of around it until I get back. So far, since I have set it up, it hasn't moved. But back here, I've got my QR code sign just back here so it doesn't blow over. We have got the Prime 2, APC Mini, my DMX3 on that laptop, and our Mackie mixer. No subwoofer tonight. As I got here, I actually remembered that they don't allow us to have subwoofers, just a county ordinance thing. So, but yeah, that's it. That's what we're rocking with. Oh man, look how beautiful it is. We already had a couple casualties. We had a flower vase fall over and something off of the head table. Hopefully the wind calms down a little bit. But let's head up to the ceremony site. It's gonna be a cool one. All right, here we have the ceremony. Once again, rolling BA330 battery powered speaker. My Shure ULX P4 with my Halo Bolt to run battery. Got my laptop, so this is gonna be what we run. So once again in this clip, I had to mute the audio because the wind up here was a little difficult, especially with the microphone on the camera. But one thing that I was saying was that I know a lot of DJs in a lot of different areas, and their areas will typically have a ballroom of some kind or a chapel. And a lot of our venues, at least in northern Michigan and where I operate out of, are very similar to this. They're kind of out in nature. That's why we do a lot of tent weddings, barn weddings, and a lot of times their ceremony sites are similar to this. It's either on a beach, on a hill, on an overlook, whatever. And you'll actually see this weekend because two of my weddings both have these beautiful overlook locations, and that is just kind of a part of northern Michigan and where I live.
You're vowing to be there. You're saying to the other, every experience that I'm going to have, I want you to be a part of. So Chad, please repeat after me.
Alright, so now they are getting ready for a fake sparkler send-off. These are always a lot of fun. A lot of DJs don't like them. I really don't mind them. Look at this. We got a good turnout tonight.
No, you're gonna hurt your back.
No.
I'm just gonna say it, this is a freaking fun group.
Hey, Sharon, raise the guys like it's possible. Here's what's gonna happen. Rachel, Chad. Three, two, one, go! Another one! Oh my! He wants something! Oh my God!
What's up, guys? So I didn't have a chance to do a recap at the end of the event, but there was a couple things I ran into. So first of all, the group was amazing. They were so much fun. A lot of times after doing a fake sparkler send-off, it can be difficult getting that energy back up and getting everybody out on the dance floor. These guys didn't have a problem with that. As soon as we were done, they were back dancing. There was a couple things that I ran into, and most of it kind of centered around the photo booth. First of all, where I positioned the photo booth, it was in direct line of the sun when it came down. So as the sun was setting, even though the tent had sides on it, they were clear sides. So that sunlight was coming in and beaming the front of the booth. Even though it was not running, it still caused the photo booth to heat up. And it caused the Surface Pro in the photo booth to get to a point I couldn't even run it. So initially, the photo booth was going to start halfway through dinner, close down halfway through dancing. And what ended up happening was that when I went to start it up, it wouldn't. I tried multiple times. It kept failing. So eventually, I cut complete power to it. I opened up the back. I kind of turned it a little bit, let it cool down. Once the sun went down, I was able to start it up. I gave it power and it worked fine. So instead of shutting it down halfway through dancing, I just let it run the entirety of dancing. And it was perfect. A lot of the guests had fun. Now I know not just to be conscious of whether or not I have covering, but make sure I know where the sun is setting if I'm inside of a tent setting. Another thing was that I had communication with the event coordinator over there leading up to the wedding. And although in the planning sessions I had made a mention to the couple, hey, let them know you have a photo booth, I had completely neglected to do that myself. So even though they were going through planning, they must have forgotten. I had completely forgotten, especially preparing for the wedding on Saturday. And when I got there, I ran a 100-foot power cable up the top side of the tent to run power to the photo booth. And they already had one ran from a previous event that I could have just patched into, which actually would have been a lot better because where it was not in direct line of the sun. So if I had made sure that I had communicated that with her beforehand, she could have told me, hey, this is where your photo booth is going to go. It would have been out of direct line of the sun, and I might not have had that issue. It's hard to tell because as the sun comes down, you're on a hill, so the entire side of the inside of the tent gets the sunlight. So I don't know if it would have made a difference. It could have. But other than that, everything went super smooth. The ceremony was gorgeous. The group was a lot of fun. And in the next few days or so, I'm going to begin editing my gig log from Saturday, which was an event all in itself. I got to perform alongside a band, and there were some really cool takeaways from that. So keep an eye out for that. If you like this type of content, hit that like button, turn on bell notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos, gig logs, anything like that. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below in the comments section and I will definitely reply to them. That's it for this video, guys. I will catch you guys in the next one.